Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the unceded land where this conversation takes place, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I first spoke to Shannon Martinez almost a decade ago when Smith & Daughters was already changing the way Melbourne thought about vegan food. A lot has happened since. Smith & Deli has grown, Degraves Street has opened, Made by Smith is beginning to supply chefs with high-quality plant-based products, and deliveries are heading interstate. But what I loved about this conversation is that Shannon doesn't smooth over any of it. She talks openly about how close the business came to falling over, the brutal maths of hospitality, and the challenge that has kept her in plant-based cooking for 20 years. Making food people want to eat, not because it's vegan, but because it's good. Hi Shannon, it's really nice to see you again.
You too, almost a decade.
I know, I can't believe that.
I know,
and so
crazy.
much has happened for you.
Oh yeah.
And this is an empire now.
It's slowly becoming one, luckily. I mean, the empire nearly fell.
Yeah.
But we're now sort of moving forward and it's all positive things now, so that's really good.
Yeah. Congratulations on, you've achieved so much. I remember last time talking to you and you'd put out a book and you had Smith & Daughters and you talked about how much passion you had. And that you've been cooking since 15.
Yeah, 12 actually.
12.
Yeah, 12 but working in restaurants since I was 15. Yeah,
that's right. You're with that quite full-on brigade kind of situation.
Yeah, that's right. Sofitel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good memory.
And now you're here and you're launching nationwide with your food.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about Made by Smith?
Yeah, so that's a new arm of the business that we've started. So we have such an amazing customer base, which is nationwide, really. We have so many people coming in when they come to Melbourne and they stock up on stuff and take it home on the plane. So we thought it was only right to try and get our meals to people's doorsteps. So it's taken a bit of playing around, but we finally made it. And we've launched into... Made by Smith is actually for restaurateurs and chefs. And then Smith & Daughters deliveries for our customers.
Okay, yeah.
So there's two different ones. So we've just started doing deliveries all across New South Wales and Victoria and launching into South Australia soon, hopefully. And then Made by Smith is a way for us to supply chefs with a really high quality vegan produce and products for them to use, because I've found for myself that it's almost impossible to find good quality plant-based products made in Australia. And obviously whenever anything happens in the world that disrupts general living, like currently with shipping problems everywhere, that a lot of our products just aren't getting to us. And if you rely on those products every day, the consistency can become a real issue.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with a really sort of carefully selected range which will allow chefs to be able to customise the products themselves. So I'm thinking hotel groups, pubs, just restaurants in general that may not have the time to invest in a lot of R&D for a vegan menu, but know they need to have something of a particular quality, a higher quality. And we're there to give them really good base products of a high quality that they can vary or change to make them their own. Because I just can't find anything myself, and that's a problem with us, is that for plant-based food, your food costs are great, but your labour is out of this world.
Yeah, right.
And when labour now is such a huge issue with the increase in wages, to make everything from scratch. I mean, we don't really have the luxury of buying eggs and buying ham. We have to make it, and everything takes a really long time. And so if we can try and bridge that gap a little bit for chefs who want to just be able to throw on something really delicious without having to spend a whole lot of time on it, then that's what we're trying to do. So I've been talking to a lot of chef friends asking for things that they think they'd be able to use the most. And I'm, sort of trying to get as much feedback as possible from people, like what would make their lives easier, because after 13 years, we've pretty much done it all at one point, so we're able to do a lot.
And what are some examples of those things that they most need?
Well, they're thinking things like, really good quality cheese sauces that they can either flavour to turn into bakes of some sort or used in sandwiches or whatever application really. Braisers that they can turn into pie fillings or something like that. Bechamels too. I mean, if you haven't spent your life obsessed with plant-based food, it can take a bit of work. And if your main focus, if your regular customers aren't plant-based, you may not have the need to spend a whole lot of time on it, but you still want to have something that levels with the rest of your menu.
Yeah.
So condiments too, really nice aioli-based sauces that they can either flavour with things like chilies or, herbs or whatever they want to do to make them their own.
And when we spoke 9 years ago, you did say that there was such a huge uptake with what you were doing that you almost then needed to have a factory just to supply.
Yeah.
But how do you go from something that's so iconically Melbourne and quite niche that you do? How do you upscale it and maintain the integrity of it?
Well, this is all new for us, so we're currently working on that.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I say new, it's very new. I mean, Degraves is the first time we're really having to deal with something off-site. So the meals that we make for delivery, they're all made here already, so that's kind of fine. Scaling up is just a matter of adjusting your recipes and ensuring the staff know how to do everything correctly. But with Degraves now, majority of the food is made here in Collingwood and finished in the city. Because the city, like most places in the city, the kitchen is tiny. So with the amount of people we're feeding there, we don't have the space, the cool room space, the kitchen space to actually make anything. Well, we're making some things from scratch, but your things that take 5 hours, say your braisers, we've got like a mushroom bourguignon there that takes so long. Bolognese sauce takes so long.
Wow.
We do all those in a 100-litre brat pan here in Collingwood. We've had to buy a van, which is very exciting. And, we have our food dropped off twice a day to Collingwood. And then the chefs there know what to do to then put the finishing touches on it. So still made by us, just on a much bigger scale.
Yes.
But it will get to a point where, we have spoken to manufacturers that are off-site just to help us make some core products to take some off our hands. And that's been quite an interesting development process. There's been a lot of tasting back and forth because obviously when you start getting into the tons, things change. And so that process of sampling over and over again to make sure that when it does get those numbers, the quality is still the same as what people would expect if they come into the deli for lunch or getting a meal, because it can be a big change in companies, and I'm really hoping we can try to avoid that as much as possible. But there does come a point where you need to get a hand elsewhere.
Yeah.
There's only so much a shop in Collingwood can produce.
No, that's right.
And there's only so many cool rooms. I mean, we've already kicked out the staff room. We've cleared that and turned that into a walk-in cool room. And we're about to turn this office that we're sitting in right now into a walk-in freezer.
Okay.
There's only so many spaces we have left before we'll be kicking out the customers and the staff. So we're getting close to capacity.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, but we're almost there.
And I feel like, the whole idea of vegan and plant-based has had such a turbulent ride in the last few years. There's been a lot of articles in the food press saying that it's over and people don't want to be vegan anymore. But there are still plenty of people who are. Of
course.
But is it more that we're now on a great upsurge of people who want to eat more plant-based food, but not necessarily be vegan?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Before we opened Degraves, we spent quite a bit of time and finances into doing some proper research into the market, because obviously there is a noticeable change in the way it's viewed, and not by vegans, obviously, but by the rest of the public, I guess. I think a lot of that has to do with this obsession with protein and, I don't know, this carnivore diet came through, and everything goes through phases, right?
Yeah.
And popularity and the way that anything is talked about. I think vegan food went from not being spoken about at all to being spoken about a hell of a lot in the early days of Smith and Daughters to now everything up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So, but we did research, and if you include vegetarians, vegans, pescatarians, and people actively trying to reduce their meat intake. We're talking over 50% of the population.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be hard-pressed, well, I mean, it depends on your friendship group, I guess, but you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who isn't actively trying to eat less
Yes, I
meat.
agree.
Whether that be for financial reasons or health reasons or environmental, whatever their reasons are, majority of people are starting to think a lot more about it. And so we need to make sure that we can provide those really easy, high-quality solutions to that. And, you know, again, with people being so obsessed with macros and protein and fibre maxing. I mean, plant-based food is just naturally fibre maxing. We are the biggest fibre maxers of all with vegan cooking, you know.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't quite realise how high in protein vegan food or plant-based food can be. So we have engaged with a food scientist who's going to help us properly display exactly where our meals sit. Because I think that may be something that's stopping some people from even looking at plant-based food maybe as an option, because they just think they need to eat chicken breast and rice, or ground beef and whatever the hell they're eating for breakfast. I don't know. Yeah. But you can eat plant-based and still hit a lot of those targets that you're trying to hit in a more sustainable way.
And what made you look at Degraves Street?
We didn't really look at it. It sort of slapped us in the face, to be honest. We weren't really ready to open the next deli.
No.
My new business partner, Kelly, had only been on board for a short amount of time, and it was in the cards to open the second location, but not when it happened. But it's very rare for something on Degraves to come up, and Degraves, you don't get really more iconic than Degraves when we're talking about Melbourne CBD.
That's right.
And I spent so much time around there as a teenager that it just felt so right. I mean, Collingwood Fitzroy's is sort of another area where my whole family grew up. And Degraves is where I spent all my goth teenage years at the Flinders Street station and on Degraves. So the foot traffic is just unmatched there. It's the best opportunity for us to get the brand and what we do in front of as many people as possible. Like the tunnel to the staircase that goes down to Flinders Street station, that's under us. Yeah. So we have people coming to work and swinging past and grabbing a coffee and a vegan egg and bacon muffin on the way to work, or on the way back getting tapas and then grabbing a frozen lasagna to put into the oven when they get home. So that idea to be able to making plant-based food choices easy and delicious is something we're really trying to do in this space, because I think we're living in a world of convenience at the moment because everyone is so time poor. But vegan food or plant-based food that's in ready meal format is a lot harder to come by. Yeah. So I think if we can provide that for people, it will make lazy eating a whole lot easier to be plant-based.
Yeah. And would you have ever imagined, because I feel like when I spoke to you, this all came about because people were asking for more options at a venue that you were cooking in. Yeah. Do you have any idea that this was going to become your whole career?
No, not at all. That was 20 years ago now, to the year. 20 years ago when I first started. I first put that vegan parma on at the East Brunswick Club. And I didn't think by putting a vegan parma on the menus that my entire life would be... would revolve around plant-based food this entire time, pretty much. Yeah. Never would have thought. Yeah. I'm glad it has, and it's never boring. That's for sure.
No.
You know, the whole reason why I love cooking plant-based food stays the same to this day. I mean, it's a complete challenge, consistently challenging. Cooking a roast chicken is easy because the chicken did the work, right? It's but making a chicken out of flour will continuously be tricky, and finding new ways. I mean, you know, I think maybe the first ham I made was 18 years ago, and I'm still consistently trying to make it better and try and find new ways to improve things. If I was just buying a kilo of ham from a supplier, that wouldn't be the same. So I think it just does something for me in the way that my brain works, of constantly being challenged. Yeah. And you know, it means a lot to me that the business is still here after all this time. I think we're going to turn 13 soon, and there's a lot of vegan businesses and hospo businesses in general that haven't made it, and we were very close to being one of those until Kelly came along and saw saw something in the business that I've seen the whole time, and the reason why I had fought for so long to keep it going.
Yeah.
I mean, a smart person would have closed this a long time ago, but I'm stubborn and too passionate about what I do and believe in this brand too much. So I held on for dear life and just hoped that someone was going to come across that believed in it as much as me. And to the last minute, someone came across, and that was Kelly. And she believes in what we do and has given us the ability to grow. And I think we had capped it in this space with the money that I was able to make to keep this going. The things that we couldn't do that were going to help us move to the next level, it came down to finances. And Kelly has the most incredible business brain, numbers brain, finance brain. I'm creative. I like to talk to people. I like to cook. I like to just be there doing my thing. Sitting in an office is not my strong suit at all. And I'm more than happy to tell people that what I am good and not good at. But she is incredible at it.
Yeah.
And it's what it needs, you know. And what's been made really clear to me lately is that chefs are not trained correctly in terms of building sustainable businesses. And if you're training chefs purely to just go out and be a part of a brigade and cook food, great. But in terms of business owners, the information is old. Running a business these days is just wild and close to impossible for a lot. And there is so much more. It wouldn't even matter if you were the best chef in the world. If you haven't got your numbers right, it doesn't mean anything. And I think it's a worry, and it's something that we really need to address at some point, is the way we educate chefs at schools in how to effectively cost your products. I mean, I think I have apprentices, well, they're qualified now, but my apprentice would come into the kitchen and show me the work they had to do, and nothing has changed since I was doing my apprenticeship in the mid-90s. It's a totally different world. We can't be costing things the same way that we used to cost things. It's just not sustainable. And so to have someone that's not from a hospitality background look at these numbers and be like, what are you guys talking about? This doesn't work. Like, sure, like your food costs plus your labour costs equals your percentage that you put up your menu items on. But where does the money for the rent come from? And where does the money for the front of house staff come from? And all these things. And it started getting to a point where I really didn't have the answers, and I was quite hesitant and pushed back a little bit at the time because it's what we do. It's how we've been taught. It's how I've always done things. But then I couldn't answer these questions she was putting forward. I was like, shit. I think there's a reason why it's so hard for us.
Yes.
But it's also tricky because with those numbers comes a lot of things that make me as a chef and a professional feeder slightly uncomfortable with, and it's charging more for things that I don't particularly want to charge more for. But at the end of the day, it's either that or we don't exist. So
I think it's a lack of understanding of all of that from the public as well. Not that we can't really train the public as well, but I had a really great chat with the chef at Bar Magnolia in Brunswick, and she really explained what's on things I hadn't really thought about, like the plate of food in front of you also represents like the person who did the washing up and
exactly,
and the rent and the electricity and the person also that polished the glass that you've got, and all of those things go into one plate of food, and the napkins that get laundered and everything, and once you start thinking about that, you think, well, yeah, that's right. There's no way that you can.
There's no way that $6 croquette has paid for everything.
No.
There is just no way.
No.
And the public don't need to know, but also there is a real pushback, and you can see, say The Age or someone will write an article about how hard it is for hospitality. And all you have to do is read the comment section about, the potential for a coffee to now be $7 a cup, and the feedback or the pure anger coming from a comment section of like, I won't pay that, it's not worth it, they're just making money. And it's like, we all wish we were making money.
Of course, that's right.
We wish we were making money, It's
also, I hadn't considered how much food waste costs, and the fact that some farmers, it's cheaper for them to throw out or to allow their fruit and vegetables to rot than to sell to market.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with it.
There's something wrong with the whole system.
Yeah.
Really wrong. And it's like the more things you want to do right, the more money it costs you, unfortunately. And it seems the cheapest alternative for a lot of things is to do it the worst way. You know, whether that's buying processed foods or whether that's disposing of things in a not sustainable way, just chucking it in a tip or throwing the bags of trash into a compactor without any extra thought. And there's so many better ways we can do absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But everything costs a whole lot of money these days. Even with writing menus at the moment, the menu writing is less about what I want to cook and more about what can I make that won't get the cost to a point where I'm out pricing my customers. Oyster mushrooms, for example, lion's mane mushroom. I think people think vegan food should be cheaper, but those mushrooms are $40 a kilo. And 200-gram piece of mushrooms doesn't look like a lot.
Yeah.
So you charge $35 for a piece of mushroom, you're instantly ripping everybody off.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But if we were to go and buy those mushrooms and cook them ourselves, they're expensive. But that's it.
They are expensive. And I think maybe also the general public think maybe we have things cheaper. But a lot of the time we'll buy booze from Dan Murphy's because it's cheaper than from the supplier.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or Vic Market or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we don't, it's not a huge, decrease, I guess, in cost for us. We pretty much pay what the public pay a lot of the time, if not more sometimes, because we're particularly looking for an heirloom variety of carrots as opposed to generic carrots or whatever it may be. So there's a lot in it, you know. And I'm not trying to be negative at all. These are just things that are happening within the industry.
That's right.
And then you add being a plant-based business on top of that, and the bracket gets even smaller. For survival, your chance of survival gets even smaller. And I think if it wasn't for our customers being so loyal to what we do, we would have been in even more trouble.
Yeah.
But we are a feisty bunch here, and we're not going to give up without a fight, that's for sure. And now we're looking very positive, and hopefully all that work that I've done to keep this business open will now pay off, and we can start making some changes that we've wanted to make for a really long time.
Yeah.
You know, we want people to understand the impact that they're making from eating the food that they choose to eat with us.
So you're still on the pans?
Yeah, I sure am.
And you still obviously get a great deal of joy out of doing what you do.
I do. I'm tired though.
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's been a very intense few years for me with having cancer twice and then COVID and all of that. And I haven't really had a chance to let my body relax yet. So I feel ready for a bit of a sleep in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, for maybe a week or two.
Yeah. Can that happen?
Well, it was going to happen before Degraves, but then Degraves happened sooner than expected.
Okay.
So hopefully before the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the stresses that we have now are like positive stresses, which I haven't had for a long time.
Yeah.
It was like stresses of despair before, of like never enough. Whereas now the stress of like, oh shit, we didn't have enough food for the 50 people that came in today.
Yeah.
Amazing stress. So good stress I am very, very happy about.
Great.
If it's problem solving because things are growing in a positive way, then that's all I could ask for, really.
Yeah. I'm going to save your voice. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Sorry.
All the best. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Shannon Martinez at Smith & Deli. You can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Smith and Deli, or one word, or and Smith and Daughters, or one word. Or, even better, head to Collingwood or Degraves to check it out in the plant-based flesh, so to speak. If you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read this chat online at www.conversationwithachef.com, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats. It's still the best way to get these delicious stories out into the world. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and bon appetit!